John F. Kennedy once said, the only reason to give a speech is to change the world. That's how I feel about teaching yoga. If we're going to do it, let's fucking do it. And let's change some lives. So I thought I'd make a video about ways that doesn't happen. Ways specifically that yoga teachers sabotage their own power. Why? Because typically they're not willing, consciously or subconsciously, to step into their power and own that position of the commander-in-chief within the context of that classroom, which we have to do as yoga teachers. If we don't do that, if we can't do that, if we're not willing to put our stuff aside and own that role, we shouldn't be in there because it's not safe. It's not safe. And it's not productive. It's flat energy. It's like trying to plug in a kettle with only one prong. It's not going to work. You need the two prongs. You need the positive. You need the negative. You need the electrons bouncing between the two. That's what switches it on. Allows you to have your cup of tea. No polarity, no cup of tea. That's science. That's what it is. It's the same in a classroom. The students have done their part by actively showing up and positioning themselves in the receptive negative role. They are there to receive the knowledge, receive the guidance, receive the teaching. Honor them by standing in the positive role, the director's role. But what happens a lot of the time is that we soften it. That polarity, that energy frightens us. So we find these tricksy ways to soften the edges. And we probably have very lovely reasons for doing it. I want the students to feel comfortable and nurtured and welcomed. And fuck that. That's not how this works. All that happens when we don't own our position, our pole, is we end up with students who lack trust in us, who think, you know what? This dude does not know what he's doing. I'm not going to trust him. I'm not going to open my mind, my pranic body, my physical body to this joker. Because I can sense that he's timid by the way that he's talking, by the way that he's using his verbs. He keeps putting ing on the end of the verbs. It's driving me crazy, like sandpaper grating my brain. So these are 3 things that you should never do. If you're teaching yoga, don't do these things. A, because they're fucking annoying, and B, because you're losing power, you're losing control of the moment. This isn't about being a dictator or, ego-tripping authoritarian. It's not that. It's about honoring the role and keeping students safe, letting them know, hey, I've got you. You can relax. I've got this. That's our responsibility as yoga teachers. If we're going to teach in ways that change the world, that change people's lives, truly change people's lives, not just for 3 minutes after class because we managed to string together a somewhat cohesive collection of poses, getting people to some level of baseline calm, that's budget. That's budget teaching. Change lives in an enduring way. Give them the tools and the skills and the confidence to let go of age-old fears, karmic debris in the mind that's been there forever. Give them the power, the confidence to go after their dreams and visions. Yeah, we can do that, but only if we own our role. So these 3 things, my friends, don't do them. 1 I already mentioned. It's putting ing after the verb. The verb is the doing word. It's the way that we direct people in what to do. It doesn't need to be softened. Check this out. Stepping to the top of the mat, separating your feet hip distance apart. Touching your hands to your hips, inhaling, lengthening through your spine. Exhaling, hinging forwards at the hips, touching the floor with your hands. Inhaling, half lifting the spine, keeping the back of the neck long. Exhaling, folding forwards into Uttanasana. Breathing into your belly here. Inhaling and exhaling. It's Uttanasana, standing pose. Should keep them there for a minute, really. So let's imagine it's a minute. Inhaling, half lift the spine. Exhaling, touching your hands to your hips. Inhaling, rising back up again to standing. Exhaling, releasing your hands, mountain pose. It's a shitstorm. People won't know why they're getting irritated and why they want to punch you in the face. They won't know, but that's what they'll feel. If it's just ing, because it's fucking annoying. And they'll be getting pissed at you at a subconscious level because you're not standing in your power. And I've paid you this $22, man. Come on. Stop fucking around. Just do your job. So that's one thing. The next thing is David Attenborough style narrating poses. Instead of having the confidence to put the verb first, which is where it should go, other than if there's a breath cue, then it's breath verb. Otherwise, if there's no breath cue, it's just verb. It's just tell them what to do. The David Attenborough style narration pose teaching is when you flip the positioning of the body part and the verb. Feet stepping wide apart. The back foot turning in slightly. The front foot turning out 90 degrees. The knee bending 90 degrees. The arms. It doesn't even have to be that, but arms raising up. Face turning over the front middle finger. Looking off into the distance. You're not David Attenborough. This is not the BBC. This is not Blue Planet. You're not there to describe what's going on like it's a fucking story. You're there to direct people. So direct them. Verb first. Step your feet wide apart. Turn your right toes in slightly. Turn your left toes out 90 degrees. Bend your left knee to 90 degrees. Inhale. Elevate your arms parallel to the floor. Turn your gaze and look out over your front middle finger. No gazelles and lions and cheetahs and bears and David Attenboroughs anywhere. That's not what this is. And the third thing is just another deviation from the same idea of I don't want to step into my power. I don't want to tell these people what to do. No, I won't do it. We're all one. It's about unity. It's about unity. So instead of owning that pole and saying your foot, your arm, your breath, your inhale, it's our breath, our inhale, stepping our feet to the front of the mat. Now what we're going to do is this. No, we're not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing any poses while I'm teaching. That's budget teaching. That's 1987 or something, where the teacher's at the front of the class like Jane Fonda doing the class along with the students. Maybe if that was the case, then there'd be a claim for using we's and ours. But as professional yoga teachers, you're not doing the poses. You are standing. You're walking around. You are observing. Step your feet to the front of the mat. Take a hold of your toes. Inhale, half lift your spine. Exhale, fold forwards. Now, you're going to stay in Uttanasana for the next 3 minutes, breathing into your belly. Not mine. I'm not doing any belly breathing right now. I'm just watching you. Why? Because I care. Because I want to make sure you're safe and you're doing it correctly. Well, if I'm in the forward fold and we're doing Uttanasana together, I can't see anything. So to recap, don't use ing. Don't try and be David Attenborough, and don't blur the lines between us and them. Outside of the context of teaching practice, hey, that might be different. That might be a whole different situation. But in this context, your students have come to you to be in the role of commander-in-chief, director, for you to tell them what to do. Not us, not we, not our. So those are 3 things that you can do to not piss off your students and to give them a proper practice and to communicate, hey, I've got my shit locked down. I know what I'm doing. You guys can relax. And when they relax because they trust you, that's when those deeper experiences, those deeper moments of self-remembrance, that's when they happen. Not if they're holding on thinking, I'm gonna have to really watch out here. I don't know if this guy's, I don't know if he can lead me. All right, so this sort of thing, these strategies are what I've put together into a new online training. The online training, I've just finished it. It's called Upskill Your Yoga Teaching. So it's about 40 videos. You can look at them at your own pace, digest them in your own time. So it's a home study program, 40 videos, lectures, instructing tips, sequencing strategies, looking at the different pillars that need to go into every single practice, plus some practices where I break down the teaching strategies within the practice. There's lots of good stuff in there. So that's available now. If you want to teach, then teach to change the world. But to do that, we gotta upskill. We gotta take our teaching to the next level. The yoga world needs exceptional teachers right now, not average ones who are just doing the minimum and getting by with their fancy creative flows. That's already dead. That's already gone. Vinyasa is dead. I've been saying it for years. It's still here, but it's like a zombie. It's got no Shakti in it. It had its run. It had 5 years getting people a little bit motivated. But now all of those people are just hitting walls in their practice, in their life. Can't go any further with Vinyasa. So take them further. Give them the real teachings. And if you do, guess what? The whole tradition is going to support you. It's going to come and it's going to kick down doors for you in terms of opportunities that present themselves because you have the backing of the tradition because you are teaching in alignment with it. It's a no-brainer. Do it. All right, so check out thepracticebali.com. You can get the home study program there. The name again is Upskill Your Yoga Teaching because that's what it is. Just wanted to make it super clear. All right, thanks.